Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for attending, and welcome to our next PourMyBeer Tech Master Series, Episode 2, on how to set up and how to manage your happy hour. Before I have Jason kick things off and take it over, I really just wanted to quickly cover on why is happy hour successful and helpful for businesses. Just give you a quick 4 reasons. So besides, obviously, the big one to boost your sales and increase profit, things that some other customers don't think about is that this is a great way to introduce your customers to any new arrivals and promotional products. You can try different specialty things that they can try. With our happy hour, you're also able to categorize different styles of drinks. So you can maybe do special happy hours for wine and introduce them to new arrivals of wines, or maybe even cocktails if you're playing with that. Based on our recent webinar, a lot of PourMyBeer family members are having success with that. So definitely a great way to introduce new arrivals of, new categories or just specific drinks, specific products. Another one that sometimes people don't tend to think about too much, but happy hours definitely increase customers' loyalty. They're more likely to come back, especially if they know that there is this thematic happy hour program and it's happening on a consistent basis. You have a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that, and they know that they can always come back there for it. That does boost the loyalty, and this is ultimately what you really are trying to bring to build for your customers and to give them that reason to keep coming back. So that's one way to get them into the door for sure. And then the final reason why happy hours are very helpful to businesses is it really helps with customers acquisition. So, if you have that signage out there that happy hour is happening from 4 to 6, you definitely should choose hours that make sense for your establishment. But whatever the time is, if somebody is walking by and they're choosing where to go next, that signage of a happy hour is much more likely to bring them in. Make sure you're not choosing your happy hours time in the times that are you're choosing it at the times that are not busy. So basically, if you know that you're one of the establishments that is really slammed between 3 to 5, well, then it doesn't make sense to have that happy hour then. So you might want to consider having it after 7 p.m. if that's when you're slower, or maybe do something before lunch happy hour. Really play around, see what works for your community and mostly what really works for your establishment, so you can make sure that not only you're capitalizing on the happy hour and having great success with it, but you're bringing the people for it rather than already being busy as you are and just giving the drinks for free. Those are the main 4 reasons for why happy hour is so helpful and successful and for many customers here. And I'll have Jason take it over.
My name is Jason. I'm one of the tech leads here at PourMyBeer. I'm going to be going over happy hour, the PourMyBeer version of happy hour, how it works, what parameters you need to set for it to work properly, and how to manage it and actually set up timeframes and things. So I'm going to get to sharing my screen here. So this setting is controlled from the PourMyBeer server page. A couple of caveats. This was a relatively new feature. If we have some customers that might not be on the newest version, and we are working on upgrading them to get them all up to the latest version. So we're going to make sure everyone has happy hour soon. If you don't have happy hour now and you want it, send us an email and we'll get you up to date as soon as possible. So as for happy hour, the first thing I want to talk about is how does it work? Where does it pull pricing from? And what are the different pricing types? So I'm going to go into the product database here. And we can see I just have some default products here. But looking at our top guy here, which is Blue Moon, we have a bunch of different prices through this line here. We have our baseline price, which is set at 50 ounces. We have a happy hour 1 absolute price, which is 45 cents, a percent discount number 1, and we just have absolute 2 and percent 2. What that means in absolute value is once happy hour is activated, regardless of what the baseline cost is, it is going to be set to whatever this absolute value. So non-happy hour times is 50 cents. Happy hour price 1 is 45 cents. If it was $1, $1 an ounce in normal operating hours, happy hour would still go down to 45 cents. Percentage is just that. It's going to take 10% or it's going to take a 10% discount of the baseline value, which also equals 45 cents in this case. And you can set up two different sets of those. Another kind of important, or not important, but very useful setting here is our product type. This one is set to unknown or not set. I did that for testing purposes. Down here we have a product type beer. This can be beer, wine. We have a bunch of different settings, and this is important for a couple of different reasons. You can set different happy hour types, the different happy hour product prices, excuse me. So if you want beers to be one set of happy hour parameters or wines to be a different set of happy hour parameters, you can do that. But you just need to make sure that all of the products that you want in that happy hour setting are set appropriately with these options here. I'm going to keep this at beer. That'll come into play a little bit later. So those are the main pricing factors when dealing with the PourMyBeer happy hour setting. And you can edit these individually on a per product basis. You can also do what is called a bulk update. The bulk update button is up here in the top left corner under bulk update. I'm going to go ahead and press that. And so this is going to bring us into a bulk update menu. The first thing you're going to see is a big warning here, basically requesting, hey, back up your product database before you do any bulk changes. I think that's a good idea. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go back into our product database, and to make a backup of your product database. There are automatic backups that happen, but if you want to make a manual backup right now, you just hit export product database. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a database file that you can then re-import from this dialog here if anything goes awry. In all of my testing, nothing has gone awry, but it's good practice. I'm not particularly worried about it, but I wanted to also show that. We're going to go back into bulk update here. So now we have a handful of different options here. Affect products by type. This is what I was talking about earlier with having our products set to the type of product they are. In this case, I set a couple of products to beer, so I'm gonna set my adjustment here to beer. So that means any product in the database that is set to a beer type is going to be affected by the changes that I make. And we can affect a bunch of different things here. Update price per unit. That is going to update the baseline, excuse me, the baseline price for all of your products in the database. I'm not sure if you have wines, everything is going to become the same price. So just a heads up on that. A beer, wine, kombucha, everything is going to be the same baseline price if you use a bulk update to your price per unit. For happy hour 1 price per unit, this is the absolute value that I was talking about before. So a handful of my products were set to 45 ounces. I'm going to go and set this to, you need an integer, 35 ounces there. So what that is going to do is that is going to set every product that is set to a beer type is going to be 35 cents for happy hour price 1. And you can continue to adjust these. I'm gonna leave this here as the happy hour price 1. You know what? I changed my mind. Let's do a 15% discount for beers. And then you can adjust 2 more price parameters. VAT rate, in North America, we don't use VAT rate. That is a Europe, many countries use VAT rates, but we have sales tax. So VAT rate isn't going to do a lot for folks here in the States. Units per serving, this is, again, how many ounces equates to a serving. By default, beers are 16. If you have higher ABV content, like 10.5%, wines, cocktails, you might want to keep those adjusted as they are set in the product database. I'm going to perform bulk update here. I'm going to send my configuration. It updated 2 products there. I went past that a little fast, but we're going to go back to our product database. And we're going to look at Guinness, set it here to 35 cents, and our percent discount was 15%. And that is also changed for this other product that I set to beer here. Oops, right there. Notice here, as these are set as unknown or not, they did not take the update. So that provides some flexibility, provided you manage the type of product you have here. So that's how you actually set your happy hour prices. Now we're going to get into how to actually set up a happy hour time frame or an event. And to do that, well, are there any questions? I've been talking real fast here. If anyone has any questions before I transition?
The only question here, Jason, in the chat is, are you able to group the product by cocktails, wine, kombucha, and do happy hour just for those typical those styles?
Yeah. I'm gonna I'm gonna get into that in this next step here.
Amazing. Sorry, I'm ahead of the game then.
No, that's quite all right. So I'm gonna go into the happy hour section here, and here is where I'm gonna get rid of this note. Grab me nuts. There we go. So this is where you actually set up your happy hour time frames. It's pretty self-explanatory, but we'll go through it. Obviously, I think I made a test guide down here, but we have to give it a name. So we're going to give it happy hour. Has to have a name. Won't let you complete the process without a name. You can do two sorts of happy hour triggers, essentially. You have date and time based and event based. Date time is pretty self-explanatory. You get some subcategories here. Do you want it to be daily? Do you want it to be on selected weekdays, or do you want a specific date? One good example, we had a customer that set up their happy hour because their town removed the mask, the mandatory mask situation. So he had all of his beers were 25 cents per ounce for like 2 nights or something. So, you can get pretty granular with that, with your daily and selected weekdays. Obviously, selected weekdays, you just pick which days you want. So let's say I want Tuesdays from 6 p.m. That's too late. Let's go 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And at this point, happy hour would start at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Then at 6 p.m., it would go back to normal pricing. One thing, the system is intelligent enough. If someone starts pouring 10 seconds before happy hour, they will get the happy hour prices until their pour is complete. It's not gonna do anything crazy while they're trying to pour, so that will carry over. The other situation is event-based, which is predicated on a keg level and or keg age, I should say. Keg level and keg age are both predicated on having your keg level management set up. I unfortunately, I don't have any kegs hooked up to this, but in your keg management, you would have all your taps and your kegs hooked into this system. As long as they are managed properly, that when a new keg is put on that is marked as a new keg and it is the right size and all that good stuff, this can be a pretty powerful motivator for folks to empty out the keg. Keg level, obviously, when a keg hits a certain level, threshold in percent, so if when it gets to 25%, it will automatically move to a happy hour price that you set, or a keg age. If a keg is, I don't know, if you want it to be 10 days old, then after 10 days, it is going to move to a happy hour price, which is set down here. Most of our customers use the time-based happy hour settings, so that's kind of what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to have it Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday. Again, we're going to do 6 p.m. 6 p.m. or I'm sorry, I wanted 3 p.m., not 6 p.m. Sorry. 6 p.m. Selected weekdays. I'm going to select my absolute price, which would be whatever I set it to. For the beers, it's going to be the 35 ounces that I set in the bulk update. And for the anything else that's set to unknown or whatever, that is going to be the 45 cents. Now here, back to Tanya's question, this section here, the filters are where you actually decide what is going to be on happy hour. No filter means everything. Anything that has a happy hour setting, if they have a happy hour price 1 absolute, then that is what they are going to change to. If you want certain products, you can actually go on a per PLU number. Obviously, if you have hundreds of products, this list is going to get unmanageable. So you could manually enter the PLUs or the product type here into this dialog. And here you can actually set what you want for certain types. So for instance, I only want beer to be on my happy hour. And at that point, you hit save and you send your configuration update, and that's really all there is to it. There are a couple of different ways that the system, one way that lets you know as the operator, and one that lets the customer know that things are in. The actual display at the taps is going to oscillate between a happy hour notification and the actual product image on the screen. So it displays the product for a handful of seconds, then it oscillates to happy hour, and it does that for the duration of the happy hour setting. Once happy hour is over, it just goes back to the normal product image. And in the back end here, in your client settings, there's actually a little flame notification on the screens. I unfortunately don't have any client machines hooked up here, but there would actually be a fire image that indicates that product, that client and its products are in happy hour. And then at this point, you can kind of there's no meaningful upper limit to how many different types of happy hours you want to make. If you want a Wednesday wine happy hour, Thursday beer happy hour, you get 4 different types of prices, but you can break that out into a ton of different configurations to kind of get what you need from your happy hour settings. So I think that is going to about do it for my presentation here.
That's amazing. I think you made that happen really, really fast. I don't see any other questions in the chat here, Jason. So thank you so much for running through this. If we have any other questions, they know they can contact us at support@pourmybeer.com, or
Yep.
they can just reach out to us by calling us. So thank you so much, Jason, for your time. I'm excited for our next topic, and you have a great day. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.